My husband gave me an ultimatum: open marriage or divorce. He thought I'd stay loyal while he had his fun, but now I'm the one thriving with two partners, and I'm wondering if I ever loved him. Posted by u/thrower437893. My husband, Leo, 34M, and I, 30F, have been together for 7 years, married for 4 of them. We don't have any kids and don't intend to. 2 years ago, Leo asked me for an open marriage. I was devastated at the time. I couldn't understand why he didn't just want me, and I couldn't even comprehend the idea of sharing him either. He gave me the same excuses many men give their spouses, swore up and down that he loved me, said I wasn't fulfilling his needs, claimed he needed more than I could give, said it was just to spice up our life, it was just smash, and so on. I did ask if there was someone else. He said no. To this day, I'm still not sure if I believed him. At the time, I was angry and hurt and said no. He pestered me to change my mind for a week before giving me an ultimatum: open marriage or divorce. I chose the open marriage. I just couldn't bear the thought of him leaving me at the time. We set rules: we couldn't bring any partners home, we had to get tested for STDs every 3 months, 1 weekend a month had to be left free for us time, and any money spent on partners had to come from our personal accounts. I didn't partake in the open marriage myself for the first 3 months. Leo, of course, did right away. He seemed to be gone or out late almost all the time, but he always acted so happy and loving towards me while I felt like I was dying inside. It killed me to think he was sleeping with other women. I felt so lonely, unattractive, and not good enough. I told my sister, Katie, 26F, and a few close friends everything. Katie told me to play his game and participate in the open marriage too. If he could sleep around, so could I. At the time, I didn't have much confidence in myself. I'm a bit overweight, and I've never considered myself conventionally pretty. I was afraid this would just humiliate me further. Katie and my best friend, Jessie, 30F, set up my online dating profiles for me. I got so many matches that it was overwhelming. When I told Leo, he was surprised but told me to do whatever I thought was best. Jessie helped me choose my first date, and I actually had a great time. He didn't pressure me for smash and took me out for drinks and dinner. We eventually smashed, but it was all casual, and we stopped seeing each other after a couple of months. That first experience really boosted my confidence. So I kept going on dates with men. A lot of them wanted to treat me, so I didn't have to spend much of my own money. Not only that, but some of the men have given me the best smash I've ever had in my life, the kind of smash you only read about in romance novels. It's been amazing. I'm currently seeing 2 different men alongside Leo. One, Mark, 38M, is more of a steady boyfriend I've been with for about 6 months, and the other, Steven, 25M, is a casual partner. We mostly hang out and smashed. They know about my open marriage and other relationships and are fine with it. My husband has not been so lucky. In the beginning, he was very active. He was always out and didn't seem to care even when I started dating too. But now he just complains a lot and hasn't been going out much. He whines about how he's usually the one spending money. A lot of the women he tries to be with want an emotional connection before smash. He often pursues younger women, but they want younger men. He's also upset that I go out with random guys so often while he's at home alone. He hasn't asked to close the marriage yet, but I feel like he will soon. He keeps saying he misses us and wants to spend more time together. He's tried to initiate smash a lot more. He wants to go on dates and vacations, but he gets upset when I tell him I can't because I've already scheduled plans with my partners, mostly Mark. Honestly, I don't think I love Leo anymore. I care about him, but I just don't love him. I'm not saying I love Mark or Steven, but I feel closer to Mark nowadays than I do to Leo. Mark makes me feel comfortable and safe, and I love spending time with him more than my own husband. Steven is funny, sweet, and really good at smash. Katie and Jessie have been encouraging me to divorce for a year now, but I was afraid of hurting him and thought I still loved him. I think my love for him died when he asked for this open marriage in the first place. Seeing him get upset about it now, just because he's not benefiting from it, is also a turnoff for me. But I don't know if divorce is the best option. I still care about him and don't want to hurt him. Maybe if he finally asks to close the marriage, we can talk about it then. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, divorce. You're happier without him. He would only want to close the marriage because he can't get laid, not because he only loves you. OP, we've just been together for so long that the idea of him not being there feels weird. Which sounds silly since I have 2 other partners, so it's not like I'll be lonely. But Leo has been a part of my life for so long that for him to not be there just doesn't feel right. But you're probably right. Commenter 2, part of the issue is the main relationship is supposed to be the important one, so the whole 1 weekend a month for us time wasn't enough. OP, I actually did argue that in the beginning, but he insisted that he needed to keep his weekends free. He spent a lot of time at home during the weekdays, so in his mind, that made up for it. Commenter 3. What if he finds evidence of your open marriage, frames you as a cheater, and then brings you to the cleaners? At this point, I wouldn't trust Leo. What you're experiencing is normalcy, you're used to his presence in your life. But how long are you going to live like this? OP. Jesse had the same thought as you and actually took screenshots of his dating profiles during the beginning of the open marriage. She also told me to save screenshots of any texts we had about the open marriage. I don't think Leo would do that, but I also didn't think he'd ever ask for an open marriage, so what do I know? Update 1. 1 week later. Hi, everyone. I received so many comments and messages on my last post, which got deleted for some reason, that I was a bit overwhelmed, especially since a lot of you kept repeating the same advice: divorce, divorce, divorce. The thing is, I think a part of me does still love my husband. I know in my last post I said I didn't think I loved him anymore, but I can't just forget about the things that I do love. I love when he sings in the shower, when he laughs so hard he snorts, and when he kisses my forehead after I've had a bad day. I love when he holds my hand while we watch TV together. Leo has done a lot of selfish things, but he's not the complete jerk some people think. Maybe that's my fault for not portraying him fairly? Even if a part of me still loves him, I'm not in love with him anymore. I don't think I have been for a while. I care about him, but you were all right, I should have divorced him when he gave me that ultimatum in the first place. This past Saturday, we had the big talk. I initiated it, but he didn't seem surprised. I told him I noticed he wasn't happy with me going out with Mark or Steven and asked if there was a problem. He admitted there was, but he didn't ask to close the marriage. Instead, he asked if I still loved him. I told him, not like I used to. He broke down crying, which made me cry too. He admitted he'd known for a while that I wasn't in love with him anymore but had hoped he could win me back by focusing all his energy on me. I was honest and told him that during the first 3 months of the open marriage, I felt like my love for him had died, and I couldn't get it back. I said I still cared about him and loved him in some ways, but it wasn't the same. He then asked if I loved Mark or Steven. I told him no, I like being with them and care about them a lot, but I'm not in love with either of them. For the first time, I also asked him why he wanted the open marriage in the first place. Many of you in the comments guessed he already had someone lined up, and you were right. There was someone at work he was interested in, and she wanted him too. The open marriage was his way of getting permission. He admitted he never thought I'd find my own partners because of how unconfident I was at the time. He didn't want to stop me when I did, because he knew it wouldn't be fair after I gave him permission first. He confessed that Mark and Steven made him insecure because I was spending so much time with them. For him, the open marriage was just smash on the side, hookups that never lasted long. He said he genuinely only loved me, but he thought I was falling in love with my partners and felt like he was losing me. We cried and talked for a long time. In the end, we decided to get a divorce. Since the house is in his name, I'll move out and live with Katie for a while. He told me I didn't have to leave and could stay until the divorce was finalized, but I just can't. It's too hard to even look at him sometimes. I don't really know how I feel. I thought I'd feel relieved or sad, but instead, I just feel tired. I wish I could be like some of you wanted me to be, clapping back, being sarcastic, or rubbing it in his face, but I don't feel like I've won anything. I just feel lost. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I'm wondering if the other woman ended it, so now he's back to what's comfortable, his wife. He had his fun, and when that fell apart, he was left without a wife waiting at home. OP. He and his co-worker only slept together for about a month. She indulged his kinks, which I never liked participating in. That's why he was with most of his partners, they fulfilled kinks I wasn't into. Commenter 2. He stepped out of the marriage first and tried to have his cake and eat it too. The thing with open marriages is that you can't predict how emotions will change. Smash is very intimate, and emotional connections come at a price. He placed a bet and lost. At least he's owning up to it. There's no easy answer here, up. I wish you healing. OP, thank you. Leo thought the open marriage would be a way to get his kinks met without me, since I wasn't interested in them. He also knew how unconfident I was, which wasn't because of him. By the way, my mother deserves credit for that, but that's another story. So, he never thought I'd participate in the open marriage either. Commenter 3. So he never expected you to participate in the open marriage. He asked for a mutually open arrangement, but he assumed it would only be open on his side. Then he got hurt when reality didn't meet his expectations. OP, Leo admitted that he did only expect his side to be open. He wasn't going to stop me from dating if I wanted to, but he didn't think I actually would. Honestly, I don't think I would have either if it wasn't for Jesse and Katie pushing me and setting up my profiles. Update 2. 2 months later. Hey everyone. It's been a while. It feels like both a lot and nothing has happened. I still have a lot of feelings, but honestly, I'm just really tired. Leo and I are still in the middle of our divorce. It's been as amicable as a divorce can be. Since we mutually agreed to it and had a prenup, splitting everything 50-50 has been pretty easy. My lawyer says the divorce should be finalized by the end of the year. Leo is insistent on giving me alimony, but I'm not interested. Thanks to several people pointing out flaws in Leo's explanation about the open marriage, I brought it up again and asked him to be completely honest about that girl from work. He admitted there was more to it than he initially said. Here's what he told me, and I've decided to believe him. At this point, even if he's lying, it doesn't matter since we're getting divorced. I just don't have the energy to care anymore. According to him, this was the timeline. He was posting on Reddit about his kinks, asking for advice. I already knew about this. He started exchanging messages with a user who kept talking with him. During one of their conversations, he mentioned my name. He showed me the messages. One day, during his lunch break, his coworker, Mary, approached him and asked if he used Reddit and confirmed his username. She revealed she was the user he had been talking to. They began talking more in real life as friends and eventually started messaging each other on Instagram. He showed me these conversations too. Their messages were mostly memes, jokes, light flirting, and mentions of kinks. At one point, Mary commented that it was too bad he wasn't single. That's when he decided to demand an open marriage because Mary was clearly into him, shared his kinks, and could intimately satisfy him in ways I couldn't. To be fair, Leo and I did have intimate compatibility issues before the open marriage. I'm very vanilla, and he discovered his kinks after we got married. I tried them all for him, but I couldn't enjoy it, and he didn't like seeing me struggle. After that, he stopped bringing them into our bedroom. Maybe our marriage was doomed even before the open marriage ultimatum. Our families, outside of Katie, were shocked when we announced our divorce. They always thought we were so happy and in love. My mom blames me, which I expected, but it still hurts. They don't know about the open marriage, and Leo and I plan to keep it that way. I think he's ashamed, and honestly, so am I. I really thought Leo was the love of my life. He was my first for almost everything. We weren't just together for 7 years, we were friends since college. I've known him for nearly 12 years, and soon, we'll be strangers. I still mourn my marriage, even though Katie and Jesse keep telling me this is for the best. They're thrilled, it's obvious, but they also know this is a weird time for me. I don't know how to feel. I thought I'd feel free, relieved, or heartbroken, but instead, I just feel weird. Like I've lost a part of myself, and I don't know how to get it back. I'm still living with Katie, but I'll be moving out soon. I found a 1-bedroom apartment near Jesse, so I won't be completely alone. Mark offered to let me move in with him, but I declined. We're kind of on standby. He knows I'm struggling to process my feelings about Leo and the end of my marriage. I think he wants us to be official, but I'm not ready. I really do like Mark, and I don't want to lose him, but I feel like I need to figure myself out first. As for Steven, we ended our relationship at the beginning of August. He got a job offer in another state and took it. Even though it was casual, I did cry a little. Steven is a great guy, and I know whoever he ends up with will be lucky. We still text occasionally, but it's mostly sharing TikToks and polite check-ins. Some people asked if I want to go back to monogamy after experimenting with poly relationships. The answer is yes, I do. Even though Mark and Steven were great, and I met some wonderful people during the open marriage, I don't think I've ever truly been happy with myself or my choices. I felt guilty a lot, like I was somehow cheating on Leo, Mark, and Steven, even though it was all consensual. Polyamory and open relationships may work for some people, but they're just not for me. Jesse says I need to get a therapist, and I've been looking. Finding someone who's available and feels like a good fit is hard, but I hope to find one before the divorce is finalized. I also want to figure out what to do about Mark on my own. I don't want to lead him on or give him false hope. Maybe we need a break, or maybe I should let him go so he can find happiness without me. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, you're numb. It happens when you lose a partner and are grieving under a lot of stress. Divorce is one of the most stressful life events, right after the death of a loved one. And I'm curious, your family is shocked by the divorce because you seem so in love, but your friends are thrilled. Did they witness something unhealthy? OP, Katie and Jesse are the only ones who knew about the open marriage, so they're glad it's finally ending. None of my other friends or family members know. Commenter 2, I don't know why you're still protecting your ex by not telling people what he bullied you into. He had the girl all picked out and wanted your approval to cheat. Tell the world. Don't let your mother blame you. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Get a therapist to help you build your self-esteem. OP, I think I'm just embarrassed I let it get to this point. I probably should have gone through with the divorce when he first gave me the ultimatum. Commenter 3, it's sad that your soon-to-be ex ruined a loving marriage for kink smash. I'm glad you're divorcing, you deserve better. Definitely focus on healing, and finding a therapist will help you navigate this next chapter of your life. OP, thank you. I'm trying to heal and figure things out. I just need time. Update 3. 4 months later. Hey everyone. I hope you all had happy holidays and a great new year. This post is mostly a rambling update, but I wanted to share where I am now because so many of you have supported me through this journey. Honestly, between the kind words from strangers here, the support of Katie and Jesse, and my therapist, I'm doing much better than I was last year. First off, it's official, Leo and I are divorced. The papers were finalized earlier this week. When I realized it was truly over, I cried, but not in the way I thought I would. It wasn't the morning cry I'd been doing during the worst of it. This time, it was relief that it's all behind me, relief that I can truly start over. Some of you will be happy to know that I did accept the alimony Leo offered. It's not a huge amount, but it'll help with some extra expenses. Honestly, I think he mainly offered it to appease his guilt. Whatever his reasons were, they're not my concern anymore. I've started seeing a therapist, and she's amazing. She's helping me unpack a lot of childhood trauma that I didn't realize had impacted my marriage. I've come to understand that my mom is, and likely always will be, a toxic influence in my life. It wasn't Leo who destroyed my self-esteem, as some people speculated, it was my mother. My therapist is helping me set boundaries and slowly limit contact with her. It's difficult, but I'm trying. As for Leo, my therapist advised me to close the door on him. He initially wanted us to remain friends, but despite the progress I've made, his presence still affects me. Many of his messages were attempts to persuade me to give him another chance or promises that he'd be the husband I deserve. My therapist said I needed firm boundaries, and sometimes that means drawing a hard line. So, I asked him not to contact me for a few months while I sorted myself out. So far, he's respected my request, for the most part. He still follows me on Instagram, and we're still Facebook friends, but he doesn't comment on my posts or message me about my stories. Occasionally, he'll like something, but that's it, and I can handle that. I've also made sure not to check up on him, as my therapist advised. I don't want to obsess over him or the what-ifs. Even after everything, I don't hate him. I thought I needed to because everyone else seemed to, but I can't. My therapist explained that it's easier to hate someone you don't know than someone you do, especially when you have cherished memories tied to them. I don't think he's a bad person, he's selfish and self-centered, and he hurt me deeply. But he's also funny, sweet, and attentive, and those qualities were why I fell in love with him in the first place. I'm still seeing Mark. I tried to break up with him because of my emotional state and because I felt like he deserved better, but he told me he loved me and was willing to wait. He promised to go at my pace, however long I needed, and I want to believe him. I love being with him, so I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll work out. We don't live together, and I prefer it that way for now. I'm learning to be my own person again. Leo had been in my life for so long that I forgot what it was like to just be me instead of me and Leo. I even got a dog, something I'd always wanted but never did because Leo was allergic. His name is Iro, and thanks to him, I don't feel lonely anymore. This will probably be my last update. I mainly wanted to thank you all for your kindness and support on my posts. It's meant more to me than I can say. Thank you, and have a great new year. Top comments. Commenter 1, congratulations and condolences seem oddly appropriate. You're embarking on a new phase in your life. It sounds like you're unpacking a lot and doing great at it. Wishing you a wonderful future and peace. Commenter 2, your progress is amazing. Taking steps to limit contact with toxic people and focusing on therapy is so important. You deserve the happiness you're building. Commenter 3, please update us one more time to let us know what happens with Mark. I hope he turns out as great as he seems. You definitely deserve someone wonderful, and I'm sure you'll find that person, whether it's Mark or not. But I'm rooting for you and Mark.